Welcome back everyone to another video. And this week, I'm afraid I'm actually not at home. I'm in someone else's house. I'm gonna be here for a little while. Don't even know if I'm gonna still be here next week, but anyway, I can't really go past like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 5 minutes even sometimes without getting interrupted by some like freak alien noise. So if you hear something in the background, oh please just consider that a little touch of culture, eh? Unlike when I'm at home, I can actually talk for hours and hours and hours, and it will just be pure silence, and it will just be the birds and the crickets and the bugs, like dogs behind me in the background. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And so before we actually jump back into the drawing, I do want to show you this thing that I have made. Hang on, where is it? It is here. Okay, so it's this thing here. These are a bunch of mushrooms. They're silhouettes, right? I have made like 5 here. So I've got this big mushroom. It's got a big stalk and a tiny cap, and people have put like a straw roof over it. It's got a little chimney. It was also eaten by mushrooms. We got a little mushroom study going on here. This one's like a giant mushroom that's bursting out of a ginormous tree. I named it the world mushroom. And so you got these little lanterns just hanging off the bottom. This one, I don't know if you can tell, this is like a little person for scale. This is actually like a bunch of giant mushrooms that have been felled, or they just, fell by themselves because it's just the way they grow, isn't it? And the last one, I'm calling them bendy stem mushrooms, which is what this is the concept that this current study of mine that I'm doing right now is based on. So it's like a bendy stalk mushroom with like spherical caps, and people live in it. As you can see, there are windows and there are ladders and little railings on the side, like platforms. I guess I could show you the other ones I've made too, and this is on Infinite Painter, by the way. It's not Procreate. This one's a giant mushroom that's been hit by a meteor. So a meteor stuck in there in the center. It's still flaming. This was like a giant gaping mushroom stuck on the side of a tree, and it's got tentacles just wriggling everywhere. This one's inspired by the gaping dragon from Dark Souls. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I think that's all for mushrooms. Yep. Okay, so let's get back to the drawing. So this one obviously came from the bendy stem mushroom that I showed you just now. And there's some writing of what I've done on the right side here. It's sort of like a memo to myself, like a reminder in case I return to this drawing and decide that I really like the way this one turned out, just so I remember what I did. The writing on the side, they're supposed to remind me of how I achieved this look. I mean, even though it's just like a memo for me, I guess you could find it useful for you if we somehow happen to be on the same wavelength, right? So go ahead and put that to good use if you happen to understand it. And also, some steps I feel like I can probably take out, and I can implement the rest in my future workflow. Because a lot of the steps I take when I draw these things, when I'm practicing, is sort of just controlled chaos. Like, it's all just freestyling, but the problem with that, and I do this a lot, I freestyle a lot. I don't really follow the same recipe like more than just 2 or 3 times, because I get bored easy, because I just want to explore all the different ways of drawing I can possibly think of. But anyway, the problem with freestyling too often is that I can't always remember every little thing that I do during the whole process. So what I end up doing, at least these days, is I write instructions to help me remember, instructions for myself, for my future self. So like I said, it might also be useful for you. And like, I don't recommend you to follow everything that I do here. And this applies to every single video that I make on my channel. I don't recommend that you follow everything, every little thing that I do step by step blindly, because I feel like that's it's not gonna get you anywhere, at least fast, it's gonna be too slow. I feel like it's a bit of a waste, so I think it's better for you to understand how these layers work, and how and also why I do certain things when I draw, and how it has made this drawing look like how it looks. Because if you understand all that, then you can sort of just take only a portion of my workflow that you've seen me do throughout all of my videos. And if you happen to like a bunch of them, you can also you could actually take that with you and implement it in your own way of drawing. Like, you don't have to copy everything. You could also change a lot of it to suit your own style. Maybe you like some things that I do in the front and also in the back, but you don't like anything. You don't like everything I do in between. Maybe you only like a portion of techniques that I have done for like only 5 minutes throughout the whole video. You don't like everything else, or you might even disagree on how things are drawn in the whole video, and that's fine, but you won't be able to do that if you don't understand how these layers work. So it's better for you to understand why I'm doing these things instead of just trying to follow blindly, unless you're a total noob, like you're totally new to drawing and you just want someone that you can copy. We can go ahead and do that otherwise, but if you're anywhere near intermediate, I do recommend for you to just understand why I do things instead of just blindly following everything that I do, because that could end up being a big waste of time for you. Also, I think the style of videos that I like to make on my channel is I just sort of turn on the camera or recorder, and then I talk about the thing that I'm doing, and then when I'm done I just hit stop. And I like to put the finished result, or at least the work in progress, in the thumbnail. And if you happen to like the way that the artwork turned out looking at the thumbnail, then you can go ahead and click on it and watch. That it's sort of like an educational type of channel that I'm trying to go for, but also entertaining, hopefully. Which is why I do recommend that you just try to understand why I do certain things, because there's gonna be way more videos like these, like this one, that's gonna come in the future. Because I do this once a week, you know, because it's gonna get overwhelming for you. Anyway, I guess that's about it. I've been rambling on with these weird noises in the background, which I've noticed, which I'm sure you have noticed. Thank you very much for bearing with me and all this weird background noise. If you have any questions, then please feel free to ask down in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a good week. Goodbye.
Bye.